Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I have my 35-week pregnancy update for you today, which I know I've said in my last few videos, like my last few updates, but it is going so freaking quick. I can imagine the next few weeks are probably going to slow down a little bit because it's Christmas and everything, but yeah, for now it's just absolutely flying by, or up to this point. So without further ado, if you want to know how I've been feeling, what I've been up to, all of that stuff, then keep watching. So as usual, I have wrote a list of things to talk about on my phone because my memory is freaking shocking and I didn't want to miss anything out. So we're going to start off with symptoms. Now, I haven't really addressed too many symptoms in the last few videos, only because I haven't really had many to talk about, but I feel like now they're starting to kind of vamp up a little bit, and some of them may be TMI, so if you don't like that kind of thing then click off. But you know what I'm like, I'm quite open and honest with all things like this, and I don't mind talking about TMI subjects. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna discuss with you. So we'll start with the TMI just to get them out of the way. So I have actually had 2 days now. They've not even been like a day's worth or anything. It's just been like on 2 separate occasions my boobs have leaked. So I've had colostrum leakage, if you will, which sounds absolutely disgusting. And when I told Joe, I was like, my boobs are wet, and he just the look he gave me, honestly, if looks could kill, it was just, and that sounds weird because saying to your husband, oh, my boobs are a little bit wet, you'd think would be a little bit more suggestive than anything, but he was like midway through like a mouthful of Chinese, so I don't think it was particularly good timing on my part, but that was that. So I've had that. I actually had a little bit this morning as well, which was, it's just like so bizarre. It's like, oh my god, like my body's doing things, like obviously it's growing a fucking human, but at the same time, like, oh, it's just so weird. So there's that, and increase of discharge. That has been over the last kind of couple of weeks. I haven't really mentioned it at all because I've kind of really forgotten, but I've noticed it quite a lot more over the last kind of 2 weeks or so, to the point where, although I don't like using like disposable panty liners or anything, I have used some of my reusable cloth sanitary pads, just because like I'm having to change my underwear and it's just annoying more than anything. It's not that much that I would need a full like pad or anything. It is more just a panty liner kind of situation, if you will, but like I say, I don't use them, so I haven't been able to do that. So I've been using my CSP when I have needed to, like if I'm going to be kind of out and about for quite a while, or if I'm working a longer day or anything like that, and I don't want to have to like change my underwear and things like that, because I have had to do that, then that is what I'll do. So there's that. Backache and sciatica, so they're not necessarily like, they don't really go together because my sciatica's on my left side and my backache is on my right, which is just annoying. And the pain in my back, it's like, it's not like a backache, it is like a full-on like pain down the kind of like to the side of my spine, and it's just so uncomfortable, and nothing really does anything to like get rid of the pain. I've tried heat, I've tried paracetamol, nothing really does anything. Obviously there can be like certain positions that I'm sat in that make it worse, so I try not to kind of sit at the desk for too long if I'm like editing a video or anything like that. And if I do kind of notice it's starting to niggle more, I'll just get up and have a walk and things like that. But yeah, that's starting to become more of a problem, and I don't know if that's just because obviously my weight distribution's obviously all over the place. Probably my posture is, well, it was pretty bad beforehand, so I can only imagine it's worse now. So yeah, there's that. And the sciatica, it's quite mild, I would say. It doesn't necessarily stop me doing a lot of things. I notice it more at night. I notice it like when I'm in bed and stuff, when I'm trying to get out of bed to go for a wee. It's just like that pain from like kind of the top of my hip down to kind of the bottom of my bum cheek, I guess. It doesn't go down my leg at all, which is quite good, but it's just rather uncomfortable. So there's that. And the other thing that I have noticed quite a lot more recently is cramp, and getting cramp really easily. Like, I don't know if this is, I think there's a couple of different things that can contribute to this. One of them being like dehydration and things, and I'm really bad at drinking water like and stuff during the day, so that is probably the main cause of that. But yeah, it's definitely something that I've noticed more recently, that I will just move ever so slightly in the wrong way and I will just get the biggest cramp in my leg ever, and it doesn't, well, it eases off pretty quickly if I can catch it quick enough, but it also, I don't know, it just kind of lingers. Like the actual kind of after painy bit, it lingers, which is rather frustrating, like I say. So yeah, they're the only kind of symptoms, as it were. I mean, I'm starting to struggle maybe to do things lately, like getting down to tie your shoes, putting your socks on, all of those kind of the typical things that pregnant women like struggle with. And I've said this before, like to a couple of people, that I wouldn't even know I was pregnant half the time unless I looked down. So I have, and I think this has helped me, to be honest, I have pretty much continued to do everything that I had done pre-pregnancy. I still, you know, bend down and pick things up, and like not heavy things obviously, and like clean the back of the lower cupboards and things like that I probably shouldn't do, but I still feel able, so I'm just kind of going with my body, if that makes sense. So I'm just kind of still doing things unless I feel that proper like you shouldn't be doing this kind of feeling. So yeah, there's that. Starting to struggle, but it's not a massive issue. A lot of things I can work around. Like I say, I struggled to get on like socks, and I struggled to get off my nail polish off my toes the other day, but I could kind of sit in a funny position that it just works easier than it would have done like normally, if that makes any sense. So yeah, there's those. So they are the only kind of symptoms, as it were. So a couple of you did say on my last video about looking out for kind of signs of preeclampsia, because I said about like the swelling in my hands and my feet. So I have been kind of keeping an eye on things like that since my midwife had told me about it at my last visit. And I think the thing is, I only really notice it when like the heating's been on, or if I have like a really hot bath or whatever. Obviously I don't have like too hot a bath, but if I have a fairly warm bath and the heating's been on, them two together just, nah. It just makes me feel rather uncomfortable. But there's no other kind of signs or anything that I'm aware of that have presented themselves. I'm glad to hear everything's going well. You look fabulous for having gained that much weight. Remember, it's all to make baby big and strong. Exactly. I am totally fine with however much weight that I gain through this whole pregnancy. At the end of the day, it's doing an incredible thing. Most of the weight obviously is baby, water, placenta, all of that kind of thing. So I'm not dwelling on like a weight gain. Obviously, when I say it out loud, like 5+ probably by now kilos sounds like a lot, and I have had problems with my weight in the past, but when I think about the bigger picture, like it just doesn't bother me at all. So yeah, hope you had a great Thanksgiving, taking advantage of eating for two. Like I said back to you, obviously we don't celebrate Thanksgiving over here, but I certainly am taking advantage. I know they say you don't actually have to eat for two, just obviously up your calories a little bit just to keep your energies up, which I have been doing. Oh, so here we go. Yeah, so do you have a pregnancy waddle, and do you have any embarrassing symptoms like lots of gas, burping, etc., or just embarrassing symptoms in general? So like I said a little bit earlier on, I had the TMI symptoms of like leaky boobs and the excess discharge and stuff, and I have said in a previous video that one of my kind of like TMI symptoms, well, it's not really TMI I don't think, but was a lot of gas. So I have had a lot of farting in like the earlier stages of my pregnancy, probably a little bit still now, but more towards this end has just been like wind at the top end. It's just constant, and it's really frustrating because I could be halfway through saying something and I'll just burp, and it's just really annoying because I'm not like a burpy person, so it's a bit of a weird one, to be honest. And in terms of a pregnancy waddle, I don't think I do, to be honest. I feel pretty normal in how I'm walking. I don't feel like my hips are kind of, I don't know, in any weirder position than they were before, so I don't feel like I'm waddling as such. I maybe walk a little bit slower, but other than that, that's probably it. Great to hear you're doing well. Be careful about the skin tightening. And then Phil asked, what's the latest with your business next year? So I thought I would kind of touch on this along with the house update. So if you've been watching my last few kind of pregnancy updates, you'll know that we've been trying to go through something called a betterment move through the military, and basically the long and short of it is we haven't been very successful, and we're at a point now where we'll just have to wait a couple of months before we can kind of progress any further, and look any further into that option, or they can look into that option for us. So basically we're not going to move pre-baby, that's a definite. Whether we will continue the process afterwards is a whole nother story. So that's a decision that we're trying to make at the moment, which obviously then affects my business, regardless of whichever it ends up being, whichever decision we end up making. So yeah, that's the kind of short of it all. I don't really want to get into it too much. It has been quite an upsetting time, but it's also understandable, so kind of not, I'm trying not to dwell on it too much. Like, it is what it is at the end of the day. The most important thing is baby's happy and healthy, and if that means that I have to close my business so she can have her own room in a couple of months' time, then that's just gonna have to be what it is, unfortunately. So yeah, that is that kind of rounds up the house update and my work situation. So the only other thing that I wanted to mention was maternity. So I've had quite a few messages over on Instagram actually, asking me, am I on leave? Like, when am I going on leave? Like, how am I going to do things? And, you know, how long? And all of this, that and the other. So I figured I would mention it in this update because, you know, I'm 35 weeks now. This is kind of the time that, well, quite a few people, I think especially at the moment, given the whole COVID situation, a lot of people are going on like earlier maternity leave. So I just thought I would say, I just thought I would kind of discuss it because obviously my situation is ever so slightly different in the respect that I'm self-employed. So yeah, I'm just going to change my battery quickly because it's probably going to cut me off like mid-sentence otherwise. So apologies if the lighting has just changed in the time it's taken me to literally like change my battery and eat 2 chocolate fingers, but I'm back. So yeah, maternity. So I'm not on leave yet. I don't honestly know when I'm going to go on leave. I am finishing for Christmas on the 22nd of December, which is in just short of 2 weeks time, which is craziness. And that is only really because, one, obviously I'm feeling physically able in myself and I'm feeling physically well enough to do that. And like I say, because I'm self-employed, it's a little bit of a tricky one. Like, I want to, obviously, I'm a people pleaser, so I don't want to let people down in terms of like appointments and stuff. And two, I need to try and earn as much money as possible, because my maternity allowance it's not it's not good. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not even worth me taking it. I would earn more doing less hours by actually working, but obviously because of what I do, having a baby, I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, obviously, yeah, if she's a great child and she sleeps and is just amazing, then yeah, I could probably work around it in the evenings when I have obviously Joe home for childcare. But I don't know what she's going to be like, and even then, it's just, I don't want to take that time away from myself. Obviously, I'd always thought when I have a baby, I'm gonna have a couple of months to just like soak it all up and everything else, and I don't want to take that away just because of the financial burden side of things. Like, obviously it's a massive contender, it's a massive process that I've had to kind of go through over the last kind of month or so, but for now I am just taking I will take my maternity allowance for probably the first kind of month or so of her life, just while I kind of try and figure our lives out, figure our new lives out, figure her out and things like that. So that's that. In terms of when I'm gonna go on maternity, like I say, I don't really know. I don't know if it will be a case of I stop at Christmas, or I work kind of that weird week in between Christmas and New Year, or the first week of January. Ultimately, it depends how I feel. I mean, like I say, at the moment I feel fine. I wouldn't even know I was pregnant half the time. I mean, yes, my bump does get slightly in the way when I'm working, but otherwise, like, I feel okay, so I want to kind of work for as long as possible. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of play that one by ear at the moment. I mean, I'm kind of just going by my Christmas date, so that I'm going to finish on the 22nd of December, but we shall see. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that one, but obviously I'll just assess it as and when. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up everything that's kind of happened the last few weeks, everything we've kind of, you know, found out about, and to the best of my knowledge anyway, about like the housing situation and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at as of 35 weeks. I'm gonna quickly jump up, show you a quick bump date. I'm gonna raise my tripod because I'm sat on the floor at the minute. Raise my tripod, show you my bump, and then I will love you and leave you. So let's do this. Oh, fuck. A dead foot. So I am 35 plus 1. So I was meant to film this yesterday and get it up yesterday, but I just completely forgot. So here we are today, 35 plus 1. Bump with clothes, which I don't feel like, I don't know, I've been told I'm big, but I don't think I am for how far I am. So move my leggings out the way, my trusty ASOS maternity leggings, and yeah, so bump from the side, from the front. So I've only got kind of one newish stretch mark, and it's at the top of my piercing. I said in my previous update that I had the one in the middle, but I've got one on the top now as well. But yeah, and then bump from this side. So, yeah. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to leave a comment down below as well, just so I know that you're watching, because like I've said in a couple of other videos, I've been looking at my analytics recently, and quite a lot of you, like a good 90% of people that watch my videos don't actually subscribe, and quite a lot of you don't comment. So make sure to comment, let yourself be known, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.